This is practice problem 6.1. I've got a chart that shows the average body lengths and maximum speeds of various animals. For part A, I want to know which variable is the explanatory variable and which is the response variable. So I've got the lengths of the animals and their speeds. And I would expect that bigger animals are usually faster, so I would expect that the speed of the animal depends on the size or the body length. So I would think that the explanatory variable is length and the response variable is speed. For part B, I want to create a scatter plot of speed against body length. So I'm going to go down my chart here, and for each animal I'm going to put a point on my graph. I've got for my horizontal axis the explanatory variable body length, and for my vertical axis the response variable maximum speed. So first I've got the African bush elephant, whose length is 625 centimeters, so it's all the way over here. And he's got a top speed of 40 kilometers per hour. So he'll have a point right here on my chart. Next, I've got the African wild dog, who's got a length of 108 centimeters and a top speed of 72.5 kilometers per hour. So for the African wild dog, I'm going to have a point right about here on my chart. Next, I've got the cheetah, which is actually the fastest land animal. It's got a body length of 130 and a maximum speed of 120, so the cheetah is going to have a point right about here on my chart. Next, I've got the coyote, who's got a body length of 81 and a top speed of 69, so it's going to give me a point right about here on my chart. Now I've got a small animal, the eastern gray squirrel, who's only 26 inches long, and it's got a top speed of 20 kilometers per hour, so it's going to give me a point right about here on my chart. I've got the gray fox, whose body length is 94 centimeters, and whose top speed is 67.6 kilometers per hour, so that's going to give me another point right in here, very close to a couple of my ones that I've already put on here. Then I've got a bigger animal, the horse, who's got a body length of 243 and a maximum speed of 88 kilometers per hour, so the horse is going to have a point right about here on my chart. Now I've got another small animal, the house mouse, who's got an average length of 9 centimeters and a maximum speed of 13 kilometers per hour, so I'm going to have a point down here in the corner of my graph. We've got the rabbit, whose length is 42 centimeters and whose maximum speed is 48 kilometers per hour, so it's going to have a point right about here on my chart. And finally, the red kangaroo, who's got a body length of 145 and a max speed of 70, so it's going to give me a point right here on my chart. So I've got 1 point for each of the animals in my chart, and that fills in my scatter plot. Finally, for part C, I want to know if these variables have positive association or negative association, and are there any outliers. Well, I said that I expect that the bigger animals are going to be faster, and for most of the points on my chart it looks like that's the case. It looks like I've kind of got them going along this line here, so that will be a positive association. And there's a couple who don't really follow that trend. This one here is the elephant, and that is definitely an outlier. And I've also got this point here is pretty far off the line compared to those other ones. And this is the cheetah, so the cheetah might also be an outlier.